Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another Last Epoch dev stream. Better late than never, as always. I'm your host, Mike. How are you doing today? We had a few little technical difficulties there, but we got ourselves back up and running. Let's get our sound back to where it was normally. We're gonna hop right back into things. We're rocking, we're rolling. Let's go, right? Let's have some fun. Hey, Chatterboxy. Apparently I'm echoing badly. How do I sound now? Any better? Is it still echoing terribly? That delay, you just gotta wait for the reply. I'm just gonna keep going. Seems good now? Wonderful. Just switched input devices and then switched right back to the way it was. Sweet. Alright. Let's keep rolling. Let's get a go in here, dodge rating. Don't do that. All res. Do like that one. Endurance threshold is nice. Oh, we have good blessings. Let's go start working on this one. If this is your first time here, please feel free to ask questions about me, about the video game I'm playing, Last Epoch, which I am a senior developer on. We do stream for charity here, and as it is the first stream of the month, we have a new charity. We're helping oceans again. Different ocean charity, but we're back with oceans, because oceans are phenomenal. And I'm good. My goal today for in game here is I really want to get a an exalted helmet to pair up with this. That's my goal today. So we'll see if that happens. Woo! Spicy. So we do have a question here. I think I saw a couple questions. I will get to them. I apologize for the slight delay. Have you considered that spell skill has faster attack when clicking the... Sorry, have you considered that that spell/skill has faster attack when clicking and heavier, more powerful when holding the button? Oh, so like, have an ability whereby you can change the functionality of the ability based on if you're holding the button or if you just tap it once. So like if you just tap it, it does one thing, and if you hold it, it does like something else that's bigger. We have considered various input methods for different abilities like that, and it doesn't really tend to fit well in a gameplay flow. It's also really difficult for animation smoothing and like preempting animations so that it feels really snappy when you have a system like that. So it's not impossible, but it provides a lot of problems in that category. And that's the sort of stuff that we're really working on having feel really tight. So any problems that show up there are something we'd like to avoid. So unlikely to add something like that. Remember to at me. Yeah, someone had a question then. Hey, can't wait for release. When is the time approximately? We do not have any estimates on a release date yet. I apologize. Hey, I was wondering what the decision for creating Swarmblade form instead of the traditional cat form that fills the role of agile shapeshifter in other ARPGs. There was a lot that went into that, really. part of it was like, let's see if we can come up with something unique and interesting and new, and that's sort of like a special for Last Epoch. That's, you know, it's different, that sort of stuff, just to give us a little bit more identity in the genre, set us apart a bit, you know, all that sort of stuff. But also just someone, I think, pitched the idea, and it was just really exciting, and we really love it. And so it was partially just a, hey, that's cool, let's make the thing we think is the coolest, you know. That's the main part of it, really. We spent a long time designing that creature, debating what it's going to look like. We went through literally dozens of like different concept silhouettes from different angles. You know, okay, well, let's take the wings from this, and the legs from this, and the shoulder from that, and it was a long time of like of just like debating all the little details, because you're creating a new like creature, and it's something that you're shapeshifting into, so it's something you're gonna be playing as, and getting that feeling just right was really important. So we spent a long time, you know, in that conversation. That was well over a year long process. As far as I know, there is not a penalty being lower level than the zone regarding damage to the mobs and or chance to hit, only their HP damage of being higher level experience cap. Is that correct? Yeah, there's no scaling that happens for the power of an enemy relative to your level. The enemy has its level and has its stats. That's it. Shield am I wearing? Channeled puncture kind of works like that. You get more damage the longer the channel. Yeah, and it's a little janky. I think you'd agree, probably. There's two skills I think that work that way. Actually, there's puncture and there's one other too, I think, and they don't feel quite perfect, especially when you get into multiplayer. There's even more problems. So yeah, you're right. We do have that, and I guess part of the reason why we don't do it more is because I don't know. Personally, I wasn't overly happy with the way that one turned out. I don't think it's an overly popular mechanic either to use. Yeah, break that channeling. I know I mention it like every time, but it's still so weird to see the 15 plus as a as the like, this is how many stacks you have of something, because in multiplayer it's not like that anymore. Alright, Sunfish asks, can I make the screen turn reddish when I'm low health? Sometimes I think everything is fine, but my HP is low and I'm dead. So yeah, we did have that for a while, actually. I mean, we may even still have it to some degree. There's a few things that do happen when you go low health, and some of them may be a little too subtle, but there are reasons for the power that they're at. If you have suggestions on that, please feel free to head on over to the forums and throw those down there. Do we know a release date for multiplayer? No, we do not know a release date for multiplayer. Yeah, when there is a release date for multiplayer, it'll be everywhere. It'll be just plastered all over everything, like our website, our forums, Reddit, Steam, Discord. Like, it'll just be everywhere. Ooh, Ice Beetle boy! This is my favorite shrine, the Ice Beetle. I know it gets some flack sometimes, but the freeze that it does, I don't know, feels very useful to me. And don't forget, if you have questions, please put at Last Epoch Game in front of those questions so I see it better. But I think I saw one there. What build do you recommend for new players? I recommend picking what draws your attention thematically the most. So just go to the new character select screen, and look at each one of them and just say, that one's cool. I'm gonna pick that. And then like as you unlock abilities, just try every new ability you unlock. And if you think, hey, that's cool, play that. You can't really make any decisions that will ruin your character. The only permanent decisions are the classes you pick, and you know there's very solid builds for every class at this point. So yeah, just go have fun. Can you tell us anything about trading? I cannot. Alright, next question. I have worse vision than a drunk mole on a holiday. I lose my cursor frequently when playing. Are there any plans to add the ability to skin the mouse pointer? Also increase its size? That would be really helpful. Visually challenged like myself. We don't have any like concrete plans for like, okay, well these are the ones we're gonna do or anything like that. But it is something we do get requested a fair bit, and I think it's a good request. There's several accessibility options that we're still that are still sort of like on the list of hopefully soon we'll get to it type thing. Just a lot of things on that list. But yeah, this is another one of those, like, if you've got suggestions on things you'd really like to see, the best way to get that agenda pushed is head on over to the forums. Leave a suggestion thread. Ooh, what do we got here? This is a great amulet. It's a really great amulet. It's not for the build we're playing right now, but yeah, real nice. Okay, don't die, Mike. We're just gonna make sure we just fulfill that don't die plan. Big hop. Alright. Scroll up something here. Is there a pity buff regarding blessings not discovered? No, there's not. The blessing system does not care which blessings you have previously discovered or have equipped in any way. Oh, get out of that circle! That could have been bad. Could have been bad. Ooh. Looks like a nice exalted if we're going to slap something on a weapon, on a legendary. Can you tell us anything about trade? Is there anything you can share with us at this time? Nothing other than what's in the official documentation. That's like the multiplayer FAQ. There's some really broad strokes overused there. But if you've read that, you know all the information we have that's public right now. And if not, go read it. There's not much there. There's just some general philosophy stuff. I don't have any details I can give you on what the this is always, there's a thread that Andrew Tilley started on the forums as well that has literally I think every official communication we've given about trade. And there's a lot of stuff in there, but I'd if possible prefer not to repeat it all over again, but yeah. Sorry. Can you tell what are top areas and what needs improving based on feedback besides multiplayer, combat, feeling, performance, visuals, animations? Oh, like the stuff we're focusing on the most, I guess. I mean, yeah, combat feel's probably the number one thing. Combat feel and performance are the big things outside of multiplayer, really. You know, just general quality improvements. So like just little things all over the place. Trying to get that quality bar up on just across the board. So like enemies that have fallen behind that are really old, maybe. I think we recently replace. There's some enemies that we had made from like a long time ago before we had our modern pipeline in place. I think we just finished making the last replacement for that. So I think we're officially out of like enemies that were created by taking 3 things of the Acid Sword and literally just slapping them together. Because there are a few enemies like that still in the game. The the Void Fused Armor come to mind. Yeah. Not really much surprises there. There's probably more details on the things we're focusing on in the last couple development update posts on the forums. That'll have details on the types of things we're working on, really. But yeah, it's multiplayer combat feel and performance. Those are the big ones. And story presentation. I think I'd put story presentation in that category as well. There's a lot of things we're doing for story presentation, and that's from just like rewriting a lot of the script stuff, changing the way that just dialogue appears, the way it's physically presented, the styling of that, the different some of the different story beats. There's just a lot of like little improvements that are happening in that category. So I'd put that in there too. The start of the game, the campaign needs a little bit of a glow up. Let's call it that. All right. Will hard idle drop chance be a little less, or will it remain the same? Will hard idle. I mean, we don't have any major plans to change drop chance of idols. I'm not sure what the hard idle part is, but yeah. How big of a drop in power should we expect to see with the impending ailment changes? Specifically, wondering about non-poison damaging ailments, like electrify, ignite, bleed, etc. I minimal, I would say, or maybe not minimal, minor. Let's say minor. I don't think you'll be disappointed in the viability of ailments post the change at all. I think what will happen is things will be simplified a little bit in the way that they work, and that's the biggest change that'll happen. You'll probably actually have it's not a humongous change. So yeah, I wouldn't be worried about it. If you're like, oh, will my dot build still be viable to play when multiplayer launches? Yeah, dot builds are still viable to play. Alright. Are you considering platforms such as Steam Deck throughout new and upcoming development processes? Being that the manufacturing hurdles Valve was encountering seems to be fading away, and more players should have access to this hardware. Additionally, are we going to see more improvements to controller support that would potentially impact Steam Deck players as well? Yeah, so first off, controller support, yes, controller support is what I would say a core piece of functionality that we want to have fully implemented at our same high quality standards for 1.0 launch. So yes, that will affect Steam Deck people because they use controls. As far as do we consider platforms such as Steam Deck? Yes, we do definitely consider them. We don't develop for them though, because we don't have the resources to really make sure that they all work and they're all happy. There's lots of people that do play on some of these other platforms, like GeForce Now, GeForce Next, GeForce Now. Oh crap! Whatever the that device is. it has like there's some unique bugs regarding loot filters on that one. Unfortunately, it's not really a platform we're supporting yet, so it's not on the top of our list to fix bugs like that. If we can get easy wins there, yeah, it's something we do consider and keep in mind. But the primary focus is getting the PC release out the door, smooth sailing, lovely, all that sort of stuff. And then after launch, we can start looking at other platforms. We can start deciding, hey, oh, there's this platform is really easy to get in because we already have support for like controller and Linux support, and suddenly there's a device that's basically a giant Linux controller that already runs on Steam, and hey, it's not a big stretch to get that in. But for now, it is. If you can get it to work, great. If you can't, sorry, we don't actually support it yet, is the official stance on that one. And I have seen people getting it to work. Ish. And I do expect that we'll get a lot better, especially with the performance improvements that are coming. Because one of the big things I do see is performance issues being a large consideration for Steam Deck not being fully finished, and controller functionality not being fully finished. So, I mean, there's natural improvements to that will come, incidental improvements to that will come, but it's not a focus for us, unfortunately, right now. Are there any plans to make two-handed weapons feel better? Is that an issue for you? I mean, there's plans to make all combat feel better. So yes, encapsulated in the combat improvements, two-handed weapon improvements will definitely be there. So yes. Any update on co-op? It's going great. We recently put an update out for the RCT build program. I think it's out. It's either like out or out today or out tomorrow or something like that. But it's coming along real strong. Constant stream of people that are still coming in. That program is expanding, which is great. Great to see. If you're still waiting to get into that, I am really sorry. We're doing our best to get everyone in as quick as we can. It takes a long time because it is a closed system that does require NDAs. There is manual checks that need to be done to make sure everything is solid and appropriate and everything. So we're still making sure we're doing our due diligence there. And unfortunately, it does slow things down a bit. But we've already surpassed what our goal for admittance into the CT program was when we opened things up again. We've already blown past that goal weeks ago. I did see a request. I don't know if we're going to do this or not. And I know people have been asking for this, but I just wanted to acknowledge that I did see the request. Someone asked to have a pending applications counter and a total number of applications accepted counter. I don't know if that's information we're ready to share specifically. I thought it was a cool idea. These squirrels are just doing work. My gear is junky. With your current experience, what would you say are the most difficult things to code and yet look relatively simple on the outside? I mean, everything's harder than it looks. Everything's harder than it looks. I think I don't know what's the most like harder than it looks. Everything is. Just getting the animation and the abilities to line up smoothly. I know that seems like a relatively simple thing to do, but just having that behave really tight and efficient is surprisingly difficult thing to get really smooth. I think that's where a lot of it comes down to as well, is getting the quality. So like lots of the things you can do like, yeah, it's easy, great, it worked, no problem. But it's just like, it's not awesome. And getting that last little bit of quality is the really hard part usually. Like I'm right now I'm trying to I'm reworking this panel right now. And we just improved the speed at which these fields populate, and it caused the panel to kind of jitter because it populates too quickly now. So we had to back through and re-architect how it actually works for a faster loading set of dataset. which was funny, I thought. Come on, go through the portal. Will you have statistics on which build is the best? No. So you can nerf him. Oh, I see what you're saying. So you can nerf and buff those who are too weak. So I think there's the reason why I just snap said no to that answer. Define best, okay? And I don't think I don't think there's a right answer to that. Like, how do you define best? I don't think there's a right answer to that question. There's thousands of different answers to that question, and I think it's dangerous to try and define it, actually. I think we might switch. Let's do a little crafting. Oh yeah. This is what happens when you're late and you try and rush stuff out. Let's see what we can get out of this bad boy here. I think let's just try and seal this right out of the gate. Yeah, got one there. Alright. What? Oh, but our forging potentials got destroyed. It won't even let us do a discovery now, will it? No. Womp womp. It's too bad. Lose void physical. Those will drop down too low. That's probably better overall anyways. Yeah, let's roll with it. Will you have... I got greedy on that one. It's okay. What build am I playing today? I am playing the squirrel build. We're all about squirrels. We're basically just playing Herald of the Scurry and squirrels. All day, every day. That's it. It's whole build. Drop some of these things on the ground. It's gonna be done. I do like this shield, the way it looks more as well. It's beefy. No question, just want to say the game's awesome? Well, thank you. Glad you're having fun playing it, enjoying it. It's awesome. Hi, amateur PoE player here. Could you please explain sextant blocking? There's little known art. And it's the ability to block with literally any object. Could be a teacup. Could be a wet paper towel. But as long as you're good enough at blocking, you can block with literally anything. And sometimes an object, any object you have lying around can be useful. So you gotta like be aware of all the things that are around you that you can use for blocking if you need to. And sometimes like you're in some sort of like, oh god, just ran into the lava like an idiot. I'm gonna have to come with like prepared answers to the sextant blocking question, aren't I? Any spoilers today around some of those main things you guys are working on? Anything else? I don't have any spoilers around that stuff prepared specifically. I actually have I was so late getting in here that I may have forgotten to grab the spoilers. See if there are any. Oh, there is. Oh, cool. Oh, that's neat. Yeah. That's fun. Okay, give me a sec. I'll get one of these in because I died. So you know we'll get a little treat for everyone. Just taking a moment. Corporate canceling meeting. Speaking just a moment. here we go. Which really is how that trailer should have ended, am I right? So here we come, here we go. Anyone? And where's the picture? There's a picture I can replace. Nope. What is going on? We're getting there. All right, little spoilery boy here. Little model update. Yeah, just some zombies. You know, it's good to have brains. Question here. Are there any plans for Twitch drop campaigns? If so, will they be unique items specific to Twitch? Same question, but also for Amazon Prime. We don't have any specific plans in place for that just yet. That is the sort of thing that we'd love to do, and we do plan to get integration into systems like this a lot better. We know that there's a huge, like, community opportunity around Twitch drops and all things like that. A really important thing to note is, like with any external, I'd put this in the same category as like MTX and cosmetics and things like that, whereby you're doing something outside of the game to get a bonus inside the game. And even if it's free on Twitch, there wouldn't be anything that was mechanically unique or power boosting that could happen in a Twitch drop that wouldn't also be available in game. So it would likely be cosmetic related stuff if we did it. Just to make sure that there's not like an unfair advantage where it's like, oh, you can only have this special build if you come to the Twitch stream. That we want to avoid things like that. All right, let's keep going. Oh, crit shrine, I'll take it. Yes, my pretties, you are angry. Get angrier. And when we do this, their eyes turn. Oh gosh, I'm gonna die if I stand still. The Scurrying Rage. If when you use it, their eyes go all red and glowy. See if we can find it. Ah, glowy eyes. Yes. I love it. Alright, next question. Any news on multiplayer? Nope. What was your product vision for making this RPG stand out in the market? Oof. That's a deep question. I don't know. I think when we started this, we just were the goal was just to make an awesome RPG that we wanted to play. That was the whole thing. Like, let's make something that we are really excited to play ourselves. And I think a lot of the identity of the game sort of evolved as we were going, and a lot of it was just, hey, wouldn't this be cool? Wouldn't it be cool if? And so we a lot came out from that. As far as standing out, I think we wanted to lean into the time travel theming, and have that be a really unique look in that ARPG genre. Because I don't think there's like the theming specifically, like you look at most of the other big ones, and there's not really a heavy emphasis on time travel. So I guess that was how we were looking to stand out. And wow, holy crap! Trusty Tree has tipped $100. Thank you very much. That's very cool. Appreciate that. Absolutely love Last Epoch. You and your team are amazing. Keep up the great work. Keep up the work. I appreciate it. Thank you. Very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah. Don't see that every day. Alright, let's get to the next question. Don't forget to put our at Last Epoch gave me your question. So I see it. Loot filter related question. If I select specific item type, let's say two-handed spear, why loot filter doesn't hide affixes that can't be crafted on spears? I can't remember why we didn't do this, because this is something we definitely considered. And I don't know if it was... I can't remember if there was like a technical reason why there was a problem that didn't work, or there was a specific design reason. I can't remember. There was a very good reason why we didn't have this. I don't know what it is, though. I'm sorry. Which is a terrible answer, I'm well aware. Sunshines? I'm playing on GeForce Now. That's what I was trying to remember. There's a way to whitelist their servers so I don't get my inbox flooded with suspicious activity emails. Maybe? You're playing on GeForce Now. Is there a way to whitelist their servers so I don't get my inbox flooded with suspicious activity email? So, like whitelisting Last Epoch on GeForce Now? Is that what you're asking? I don't know. Sorry. I've not used it ever. Actually, I have used it once. From the sounds of it, that looks like something you'd want to head to Nvidia Support with help with. Can you add something like Sacrifice Altar, which shred our 10 to 20 idols and give us idols with powerful class affixes? Maybe that doesn't sound like like Sacrifice Altar. That sounds like an idea for like a dungeon reward. And for everyone who's been here for a long time, I'm gonna say it again. If you have any suggestions, head on over to the forums and leave them there, because I won't remember them here. And that way you can get a conversation started, get feedback from other players, maybe hone that idea a little bit. Yeah, that sounds like a idea for a dungeon reward system. I'd say it's unlikely for us to implement that before 1.0. I very much appreciate you taking the time to answer my question. Y'all are the best, top notch. You're welcome. Glad I could answer it. I do not remember which question it was, but I'm glad I answered it. What's the largest concurrent amount of players you all have had on the CT test at once, if you're able to share, of course? I don't know the answer to that. If that's a number that we have and we're okay with sharing, Kane, can I please ask you to grab that and post it? If it's a number we have, which I'm assuming it is, but if it's a number we're interested in sharing. Or not. I don't know. Will there be a market or something like this for trade? I have no information I'm ready to share about for trade. I'm sorry. Good amulet too. Thanks for this amazing game. You're welcome. I was just wondering if you could bless me with dev luck in order to get my Salt of the Wound gloves, please. The drops tonight, I'll sub and win-win. Amen. All right. I'm thinking about your character. I'm thinking about how this is completely fraudulent and will never work, and I'm sorry. I would love to help you out. I do not have special powers. But this squirrel, this squirrel right here, he believes in you. And that's what's really important. Good luck. I hope you get it. All right. How do you open the friends list? With H for hey there, buddy. You talk about animations should be tight and nice, but when you kill enemies, they fly around like they were on the moon gravity. It's way too thin. Yeah, that's if you check out the dev blog. I want to say the last dev blog, maybe the one before that. There's a lot of info on exactly that. Can you give us the ability to increase the size of the text box of items on the ground? They're kind of small compared to other games. So we don't have any immediate plans for UI customization or UI scaling at the moment. However, it's not out of the question, and if we were to do it, it would be a wholesale approach. So it would be, at least initially, it would be everything. So it would be just like change the UI of everything, and you can kind of do that if you change the resolution. The UI for the UI scale changes with resolution, so you should see it bigger. So you can if it's really a problem and you're struggling to see it, the best thing to do right now, I think dropping the resolution should help. Could be wrong on that, but I would be surprised if it didn't do that. All right. Do you think introducing something similar to the D2 tear zones would be something that we could use to add endgame content to revive some of the specific areas that see less attention? Tear zones work really well in Diablo 2, specifically because they have the normal nightmare hell, and so there's so much, there's so many more areas that exist in like a level range, I think. And there's a lot more of a like wide open, explore to kill stuff, type, I don't want to say vibe or like functions that you can do where it's just like clear this randomly generated area, and I think it works a lot better in Diablo 2. It is something that we've considered and will continue to look at, but it doesn't. I don't think it works one-to-one with Last Epoch. We'd have to change some things to make it work for us, which is fine. But we've got some other plans for things, and we had some stuff that was like weirdly similar that we were planning a while ago, that we pulled up on, but we'll see what happens. For now, I'd say it's kind of a soft no, but still possible. I have an A. You provide the Q. A42. This is the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything. Also the answer to what's 40 plus 2. There we go. How come when looking at blessings, the ones I haven't discovered yet aren't shown? I appreciate the idea of having an in-game wiki, but this is a weird one that always feels weird to look up to figure out what monoliths I want to farm. Yeah, I mean, so this was an attempt, I guess, to sort of have that information be uncovered as you go, because it's, especially initially, it's really difficult to target specific blessings. Like early on, targeting them is not really a super necessary thing. I'd really like to see it be account discoverable instead of character discoverable. I think that would be quite helpful. And there's also like themings for them, so like you can kind of guess that there's void related things in the void one and fire related things in the fire one, you know, like that sort of stuff. So there's less of a need, and it is difficult to push specific stuff like that. I also think that if you're really going to be getting into like, I need this specific blessing to start min-maxing stuff, it's yeah, it's a tough one to say like, okay, yeah, I should stay not visible in game, but I don't know. We went back and forth on this a few times, and it could keep going back and forth more. But I guess we just didn't feel like it was information that would that was super necessary for especially early players. And might put too much emphasis on farming specific monoliths early. You have mentioned previously Cosmetic Shuffle open with 0.9. Can we get a sneak peek at an item or two? I think we may have spoiled a couple on here already, actually. Throughout the last couple years of like concept art that was being used to develop them. Oh, 2 away. Come off it, eh? Come off it. Let's pick an easy one here. Chance to dodge probably isn't that bad. Enrage at half health. Here's damage. Endurance, we have culling. Yeah. Will you be implementing Microsoft Direct Storage? I don't think we have any plans to. Will Falconer use a Falcon? Yeah. Next question. The ping. Is there a way to turn off tutorials? Not yet, but yeah, that's something that needs to be put in. So that's definitely on the list. Just a list of like, oh my goodness, wow! I just got blowed up. Yeah, it's on the list. Ice hockey player. I too am an ice hockey player. Regenerate health. Yeah, let's do that. Why not? Do you guys planning on adding more dungeons? Yep. In relation to build balancing, do you design the systems first and let people come up with whatever, including crazy OP builds, or define the builds first and then tweak the systems to reach this elusive balance? I think there's when we're designing new skills, there's definitely an element of, hey, this would be really good with that, and hey, like we're like, let's put this node in this tree so that it like goes well with this skill, that skill, and kind of we'll sort of start to make we'll build in intentional synergies, I think is a good way to put it, that are designed to be played with certain other skills that we're like, okay, like there's probably a build in here that's like around this sort of stuff, and as it goes through QA testing and just like design development, things like that, there's other ideas like, oh, like I was playing this build and I'd love to have this other function that goes in here to help with it, and sometimes we'll add those in, and it's a fairly fluid process. We try not to put hard like, all right, this node is for this build, and we're gonna design like these 10 builds to go in this tree. And we don't really think of it that way. It's more of like trying to design tools and let people create their own builds to go with it. I think there's usually a lot of room for variety that way, and players come up with some cool builds that we definitely didn't consider when we were initially designing things, which is awesome. And sometimes we'll like react to builds that players have created by sometimes including intentionally new tools to go with it. It'd be like, oh, this is a really cool build, but it's not quite clicking. Hey, maybe we can add in some synergy here that'll help it out a little bit. Or maybe sometimes there's like, when we were designing something, we were like hoping for a build that worked well in a certain way, and it just never came together. No one was playing it, and we'll say like, okay, well, like let's buff this type of mechanic up a little bit so that there's a little bit more help there. I'm gonna turn some of these off. All right. Do you guys plan on any? Yes. So to add. Oh yeah. Cool. No, I'm getting emails from EHG for logging on different IPs all the time. Oh. Oh, that sucks. I contact support. Contact support. Go to the support page, support.lastepochgame.com, and I think that's what it is. I just Google support Last Epoch every time I want to go to it. And yeah, it'll someone will be able to help you. I don't know if we have a way to fix that. If anyone can help you, person on the other end of that line will be able to. Because yeah, that would be frustrating. And you don't really want to like blacklist the official Epoch account auto mailer because you might miss something actually important, right? I guess you could like make if you're using a like email client that can make rules, which almost all of them do nowadays. You could like make a rule where if like the text includes suspicious IP logon, but then if it actually I don't know. Workarounds, contact support, they'll be able to help you out better. Any items or mechanics you wanted to make but couldn't because reason? I mean, yeah, tons. Diablo 2 corpse explosion. We can't make that because reason. That was a sad day when we realized we couldn't put that in. No other like really good examples come to mind off the top of my head. Usually we find a way. Sometimes it just doesn't work. Okay, where am I going? Oof. So is it this way or this way? I cannot remember. Let's go this way first. I think it's to the right though. See pretty quick. Am I gonna be wrong? I hope I'm wrong. Well, right in the way I went, but wrong in the... Never mind. Yay, we found Alright. It's boss time. It's boss time. We have a request from Steam to show defenses characters information page. Yeah, happy to. Thanks, game. I'm sorry, I don't have the Steam chat up. I probably should. What's the best way to do that? What is the best way to do that? Where I'm gonna like open it and it's just gonna be crazy loud and echoey. Show chat. Okay, that is the jankiest window ever for this. Is there a way to like go right into this? Come on. Oh, Kane's in there. Kane's in there doing all sorts of awesome stuff. Huh. Look at you go, bud. Thanks. I appreciate that. It's wonderful. If I find a way to pop out a little screen of that, I can possibly check both of them. That'll be tricky, though. I'm not that good at it yet. Hi, Excel enthusiast and longtime EVE Online player. Ah, yes, EVE Online. I have a few friends that play EVE Online, and it's like it's one of those games that I want to love so much. I was a huge freelancer player. It's like the predecessor to Star Citizen, really, and oh my god, that game's great. And EVE was just like it was so close to being what I was hoping for, and it just didn't quite fit the. Yeah, anyways, I'll keep reading, sorry. When nerfing or buffing skills, how do you decide values by which to nerf or buff them? Another small indie studio game that you may have heard of, PoE, is notorious for buffing significantly underperforming skills by minuscule amounts. Will you be able to avoid that? I think there's I think it's really hard to evaluate appropriate buffs and nerfs for abilities, and getting the specific, like, the right value for how much you're going to buff a skill or how much you're going to nerf a skill. Getting that number just right is so difficult, especially in a game where there's so many interconnected moving parts. And I think that one of the reasons why it's wasn't taking that fight seriously enough. Obviously, need to get some more void res before we go into there. We'll do that. I need to answer this question first properly, though. I think one of the reasons why it's so difficult for let me rephrase this answer, actually. I think one of the things that we have as an advantage as a tool in our tool belt for doing balancing is the fact that all of the skill trees are very isolated. So there's this node only affects Warcry. This node does not affect Fireball, like on another class. And because we're strongly typed and all of our skill trees are self-contained, there's it's a lot easier for us to make these changes and make these adjustments and not have it super adversely affect other skills. Have those knock-on effects are minimized because of this. It does not mean we get it right every time at all, but I think it makes it easier for us. So and I like, we're still very young as a company and as like live service model provider for a big game like this, and we're still learning techniques and ways to approach balancing and things like that. So it's that whole process just from our side of how we do things is evolving constantly. We like to take a data supported approach, not a data driven approach. So having data for things like, oh, okay, these 10 skills are the most played skills, is good information, but we don't want to just take those 10 skills and say, okay, these are the 10 skills we're nerfing, these are the 10 least played skills, these are the 10 skills we're buffing, done. And like, and I appreciate that's almost probably not what you're suggesting here at all, but that's sort of the extreme example of a exclusively data-driven approach. And we are still expanding the data we're collecting. We don't collect a ton of data right now on it. A lot of it is through like our feel, like the designers, the developers, the QA, CTs, player feedback. Everyone who's just playing, how it feels is sort of like the primary thing we do. And we're still, like, the game's still in development, all those sorts of things. So there's still a long way for us to go to get all these things squared away, I want to say. And it's still evolving overall. Yeah. Let's go always vines. Why not, right? Got the call threshold there. This one, just the leech. Okay. We need more void res so we don't get bopped. I know I lost a bunch of void res when I switched out my shield. Do I just put that back and call it a day? Void physical? No, good to go? Probably, right? Our block chance takes a huge hit, which isn't great. Here, do we go... Hey, we don't need this cold res anymore, do we? Not so much. Let's see if we can find some one-slot void res. Necrotic, not so much. It's a nice necrotic 107, yeah. Okay, let's find a void poison physical single slot. There's so many of them. Single void res. Grab that. Come on. Oh! Yeah. Okay, let's do... Just quick. Let's go res. There we go. We'll do these ones. So fizz and void and void. And that should get us closer. Is that close enough? I don't know. Ooh, can we forge on this? Are we all T5s? Yeah, rumble, rumble, rumble. My gear's too good. But not good enough. Alright. Ooh, there's a ton of void res there. We still block there too. Yeah. Let's give it another shot. Yeah, I hope that helped answer that question. Will you be able to avoid that? I mean, we're gonna try. This is the answer there. Do our best. Do you have specialized designer and developers working with just UI? No one works exclusively on one thing. We do have someone whose primary design field is UI, and he designs basically all the UI stuff. Does a few other things too, but that's his primary thing is UI designing. And then usually I go in after and hook everything up. Get a bunch of wireframes and, you know, this button, make this button do that, make that button do this. Lots of stuff like that. My goodness. Oh my goodness. I'll get that potion going. Do not need that. Alright. Shall we? I should get a question ready for this. In terms of story, could you spoil which era we'll see content in the future? All of them. No, I don't know. Oh my goodness! He's just like, welcome to the slam. Come on and slam. Welcome to the slam. Yeah, he just wants to party. Yeah, you can do it, guys. I believe in you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh! This is bad. This is bad. This is bad. This is bad. Frenzy! Oh, they're not close enough, dang it. That's what I'm talking about right there. Ooh, crit multi. Health gain a block. Void res. Ooh. I mean, we kind of have to do that, right? So nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, neither of these are really useful for us, unfortunately. Cool items, though. Boom, boom. Alright, Bill. Boom, boom. Sure. What is a good way to get Smite Idol? Basically, you want to be doing as figure out which idol slot it is. I can't remember which one it is. And then make sure you get the blessing, whichever one of these has like the idol blessings, and getting the right idol blessing reward. And just doing as many idol timelines as you can. Keep an eye out for idol shrines. Yeah, it's about volume. Drop volume. I wonder if there's a... Is there in Lightless Arbor? Oh, I don't have any waypoints. Tragedy strikes. Come on, buddy, eh? Do we not have any of these, do we? Oh, tragedy strikes. This is why I couldn't do it before, isn't it? I have no waypoints in this character. None. We're tarped. We are tarped. But this does mean that I can take my void res off of here, because we got our lovely void res. So what needs finishing off here? Cold's not quite finished. There we go. Cold. Necrotic's not quite finished. There we go. Necrotic. Very cool. Very cool. Which other ones would be good to do? All res is nice. We just go for a better all res. It's an option. Do you plan to add monk type class or fist weapons in the future? Also, while at it, can you explain dev team's general opinion about new classes? Okay, so there are some very clearly missing archetypes when it comes to classes and weapon types, and people who've done some digging in the like scraping data from the game, like in there, have seen there are some weapon types that have ID numbers, which are not implemented in the game. And they are things that we want to have in the game, and have very intentionally left them out so far. Most of those types are fairly class defining weapon archetypes. Vague foreshadowing. As far as specifics for new classes, new classes would be great. A whole new base class with 3 masteries is a very large undertaking for us, and it is something that we'll definitely consider post-launch. We have designed the system to function with adding in 4th mastery classes fairly easily as well. I don't mean that it would be an easy thing to put them in, but just like we've designed it such that there aren't blockers for that. Like we've kept in, when we've been designing the things we've put in so far, we've been keeping in mind a potential 4th mastery. And most of the classes, we already have picked out sort of the 4th, not specifically the 4th mastery we're gonna do, but like it's pretty likely it'll be that. One of them is we already have it planned out specifically. But yeah, so there are long-term plans for new classes and new mastery classes that we'd like to do. Who knows when it'll happen? Who knows if it'll happen? At this point, it's very much a just wouldn't it be cool if stage, and wouldn't it be cool if, you know? All right, moving right along. I'm having trouble deciding between Mage or Sentinel. Which do you recommend? Honestly, like, yeah, it's kind of a cop-out answer. Whichever one you find more interesting. Ooh, 2 LP Leo Signal, that's nice. Whichever one you're like, whichever one you find more exciting, maybe whichever one you've played more similar styles in other games in the past and you had a real connection to. You know, if you want that elemental focus, spell slinging, light armor type character, spellcaster, possibly spells to enhance melee, you know, go mage. If you are looking for more of a tankier class, like more traditional sword and board, or possibly even some spells in there too, you can go Sentinel. There's lots of other stuff in both of those as well. There's no real right answer, unfortunately. Well, actually, it's actually really fortunate. I think there's no right answer to that question, but unfortunately for you right now, there's no real right answer to that question. Alright. I know you guys are constantly hiring at the moment. Yeah, we are. I'm curious if there'd be a place for someone most of the way through a computer science degree with only a little experience. I'm super keen to get into the game industry and huge into ARPGs and build customizations. Yeah, I mean, there's no harm in applying is sort of always what I say about things like this. As far as developers that we're looking for right now, we're definitely looking for people with high amounts of experience and specific specializations. And I could be wrong, so check the website careers page because that has details. And if there's one in there that speaks to you, I mean, you know, there's no harm in applying, really. I'm not super involved with the hiring process anymore. It's been a long time since I've been involved in that. So I don't I don't have any insider details to help you out with, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Yeah. All right. Next question. Any thoughts to develop a Twitch overlay like they have for PoE? Yeah, we'd love to. Be great. I don't really have the time for it right now, so not yet. But it would be pretty darn sweet. And one day, hope to be able to say, "Oh yeah, go here." All right. He died some other time. Yeah, I don't have that many, so I took one for free. So I'm terrible. Won't do that again. I respect artistic vision in the extreme. If after launch an extremely popular player requests, if after launch a extremely popular player request would conflict against the vision of the game, would there ever be a chance for compromise? It can be frustrating for large game-changing patches that are the vision but negatively impact the player community. I mean, so yeah, there's there's always room for discussion on things. I think is the important thing. And I think it would have to be. Yeah, I don't want to make any promises or broad sweeping statements with something like this. I think it would have to be. I'm trying to be careful here. I think it would have to be a pretty. If we're doing something that's like a community-wide outcry of something wrong, and I think that's really hard to judge as well of like what's actually a community-wide outcry of something wrong, because I think the vast majority of the community is completely silent. I could be wrong about that, but if there was that, like, yeah, we really, I think one of the key things we try and put a lot of focus on is, you know, keeping the community involved with our decisions and how we're building the game. And you know, we try and incorporate as much feedback as we can. And yes, there are times where we look at feedback and go, yeah, that's like, there's a lot of people saying this one thing, but you know, we've tried it and we don't like the way it plays, or you know, we just, like, we've talked about it and we just like don't agree or something like that. And sometimes there's conflict there, but I'd like to hope, I hope the conversation's always open. And it's such a case by case thing. I'm trying to think of an example where we would just be like, no, and I can't think of anything. Okay, here's an example. If the community's like we want guns, and we're like, there's no guns in the universe. No, I am like, but we'd still talk about it if there's that many people asking for it. I don't know. That's a really hard question to answer. I don't have a good answer for you. I'm sorry. And it was kind of rambly. I was thinking about it as I was answering it. Yeah, like I don't think we are. We want to like make it clear that we're not guaranteeing that every majorly popular request will be implemented. That's not the case. But we do really try to, use the feedback we get from our players to make the game better. And it's very rare that the feedback we like wholesale disagree with the feedback. It's also I've never seen any piece of feedback that was universally accepted by, or even like vast majority accepted. I don't think like almost every time. And another interesting thing is that we get a lot of feedback from private channels where people like don't want to post publicly, but they're like, I saw this thing and I didn't want to post in the channel, but I just wanted to tell you what I thought about it. We get a lot of emails like that, which is totally cool. Because we know that a lot of people want to have their voice heard, but don't like posting publicly on forums and Discord and things like that. So, totally okay. And I think sometimes sometimes you can get into a bit of an echo chamber situation where it seems like the feedback's a little more overwhelmingly one-sided than it is. So I think there's some dangers in there too. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've gone completely off topic here. We do pay very close attention to the feedback we get. I think we've proven that with how we've been developing the game so far. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's the game we're building, and we've got to make decisions. Sometimes they're not easy. I hope that was an okay answer. If it wasn't, please feel free to restate the question. Maybe a little different. I'll try again. I found my answer. I found some monster death effects from Debug. Look nice. More, please. Yep, don't worry. Every single monster in the game is getting them updated, or has had them updated already. So. Yes. Is there any way to get smite at all? Yeah, you gotta find it. Alright, is there anything you could get ideas for Last Epoch in other games of the genre, like Undecember or Superfuse, for instance? Yeah, I mean, so we try really hard to not lift ideas from other games, because that's not exactly awesome to do. Because those people worked really hard on those games, and we really try to just look at Last Epoch and design for Last Epoch specifically. I think that pretty frequently people come with suggestions that are heavily influenced by other games, and we tend to get influence from other games more secondhand like that, I think, which is totally fine. And yeah, so like we also try to we kind of try and ignore is the wrong word. We play a lot of ARPGs as a development studio. A lot of us are, that's like time off for like, yeah, let's go play some ARPGs, and that the influence from those ARPGs seeps in like little bits here and there regardless. So like I like as a kid played a lot of Enchantress in Diablo 2. Like that was one of my, even though it's terrible, it was a fun build I just loved to play. And because I loved playing that so much when we were making the mage, and it wasn't like a hard thing that I had to push for, but like one of the things I was like, I really want to make sure we get this in is a melee mage playstyle as an option. So yeah, like your experiences shape the games you make for sure. But we try and like, let's just make Last Epoch and kind of ignore everything else if we can. Do you feel that maybe set items are getting not enough love? Because, for example, what I love in Diablo series was getting sets that make a certain build just playable while changing the way it works with certain skills. I think it's so. I would agree that in general most sets are not end game viable right now. I think it's really interesting that you brought up Diablo 2 as an example of a good set item system. I would very strongly argue the exact opposite of that. I think set items in Diablo 2 are almost entirely awful. And Diablo 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, possibly number one. But like the sets in that, like there's like 3 sets that are useful total. A little bit more now that you can up them. And there's some shakeups that have happened, but like let's take before D2R happened, Diablo 2, in a bubble, and there's Tel Rashes, and usually you're just 3-piece in that. Like you go neck, chest, belt. That's about it. like you do Mavianas, and like there's a couple other things you can do too. Like IK is pretty good still, not great, but it's good leveling pieces. It's good like getting up there, but like you're basically every single set there is a stepping stone to the end game item builds. Or it's used for magic find, or it's like a 1-piece that's just like it's always good, but there's always something better. And like IK boots are really good, and the gloves are really good, but there's always something better. And yeah, I think yeah. I don't think Diablo 2's if you're gonna pitch another game's implementation of set items as an example to emulate, I do not think Diablo 2 is a good one to go for. Because I think they've got the exact same problems we do. Alright. Were you picked to represent the company because you have the most majestic beard of the lot? Love your game. Looking forward to everything you have in store for the community and this game in general. No, I think I was the one who was like, I kind of want to do this. Can I do this? And they're like, I guess. Don't mess it up. I'm like, I won't. I've just been around forever. That's all it is. Yeah, there's other people that do more high profile appearances as well. So there's game director and producers and I think other developers too that do some higher profile stuff. But yeah, I do the weekly stuff here. And thank you. I do appreciate the beard appreciation. I'm quite pleased with it right now. It's in a good spot. It's not been itchy lately, which is so nice. It's good length. All right. Have you guys played around with new Intel GPUs? I have not personally, no. I'd be surprised if no one on the team has, but not specifically, no. Oh my god, I just saw someone that noted the Void Res buff I got. I'm so far behind. Okay, let's try and catch up a bit. It was a big scroll, it's nice. Alright, dual wield shields when? Oh, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? Nothing yet, sorry. Crossbows would be good compromise to guns. One of the item types that's listed in the game files but is not implemented in any way. Crossbows. How dare you insult all the guys? Science lobby flexing. Okay, I'm not that far behind. Yeah, leveling ones, it's good for leveling. I'd love to do just like fully like double upped to like elite versions, full Saigon set, and see if you can make a build work with that. Love it. I wasn't that far behind. Well, I've actually caught up to all the questions that had me tagged in them, so I bet there's a bunch of questions that had me not tagged. So sorry about that. Also, I just picked it up really quickly. I don't know if you saw this, but there were two of the same rare affix that dropped simultaneously. And that's when you see that happen, especially with rare ones, that's the effect that I've got some. One of these things will say like prefix shard dropper. It was probably a prefix. So 8% rolled on it, and it drops 2 instead of just 1. And that's the way we force. That's the way we force more, like increasing one thing not to reduce other things, is that you just get more items total. Yeah. Any plans for more cast on X build uniques for Warpath's been doing? I mean, not specifically for Warpath, but not specifically not for Warpath either. I'm sure more things like that will show up. There's lots of triggered abilities are things people love, and we're not shying away from it. So there'll be more in general, but nothing specific. This totem's so ugly compared to the new one coming. The new totems are so much better. Lizard S, is there still a goal for arena waves that builds should cap at? I remember you guys used to say 300 before, but the game has changed a lot, and the game mode is really skill based. Is the vision for that changed? I'd say it hasn't had much attention lately. Vision probably hasn't changed much. Part of why we liked the number 300 was that it's quite high, but it's not quite into the like heavy endurance range where you're not like, I've had 7 bathroom breaks in this run and I'm exhausted, and it's 6 a.m. and I've been playing all night. You know, like that's the type of push that we don't really want to encourage. A good night's sleep and going outside is important for your body. Stay healthy. As I drink crazy sugar-filled ginger ale. Yeah, I don't think it's had much of a reevaluation recently, and I think it's due for one. But I don't think it's changed heavily. I don't know if this has been answered before, but how are, at the moment, the feedback about multiplayer? Not meaning about bugs, etc., but more like if the gameplay per se add to the experience in challenges and item drops, etc. So, first of all, if you don't know, item drops in multiplayer are instanced, so you still just see your own item drops. So nothing's changed there. As far as like multiplayer gameplay and how it feels and all that sort of stuff, that was the major focus of the first couple rounds of multiplayer testing we did. Was like we're like, don't report bugs, tell us how it feels. And of course you get a bajillion bug reports, which is great, and we use those to fix the bugs. But you know, like it's that was the big part of our focus, and that's what I was talking about earlier about getting like animations to line up properly, and like, do the effects feel good? And there's a lot of little things that we're doing there still to improve that experience. And I think overall the feedback for that, like how smooth is the multiplayer, how is it fun to play with friends, like is there nice interactions between skills, and are there interesting things that show up because you're playing in a party instead of just playing on your own? And I think the general answer to that is, yeah, it's great. There's all sorts of new stuff that happens, and getting to play with your friends is fun and interesting and works great and all that sort of stuff. And you know, there's always room for improvement. So we are improving those things based on the feedback we've been getting from people in the CT program. And you know, I think people are gonna be really happy with it. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. Which is all that matters, really. I'm just kidding. All right. Any plans to make Arena more worth to run? Currently, it feels compared to Epochs, the rewards are kind of lacking. Not specifically, no, but if you want to get feedback like that on the books, head on over to the forums. I need a button that just like pops up a thing. Head to the forums. Sorry if this has been answered, but I haven't seen heard it. 0.9 when it's ready. Yep. When we have a set date for 0.9, I'll like put it in the. How about this? I don't know. I can't just say this blanket statement for everyone that will join, but when 0.9 has a date and I stream, I'll put the date in the title of the stream. Yeah. This is a cool. This is a really cool shield, but I don't need it, so I'm not gonna. Leaving it behind because I'm the worst. All right. But yeah, as far as rewards in the arena, it's tricky to balance because it's really easy for the arena to just become like stand in the center and hold 2 buttons for 3 hours and, you know, get a bunch of rewards. That sure was engaging gameplay. So like we, you know, like I think ideally we'd like to push generally Monolith being a little bit more rewarding overall if we can. Having be just like just a slight edge, just like a little bit better in Monolith. You know, that's the goal. I think ideally, actually, the way it would be is just like to get the most efficiency out of it, you're trying different things, and it's not any one thing. All right, next question. Are you guys going to reach out to bigger streamers to play the game, like maybe Asmongold? I'd be surprised if. Well, I don't know. I know there's still people that we haven't specifically reached out to that we probably want to still. And I know there's like lots of us on the team have streamers that we've watched for years. And I've definitely got my one wish list of a person that I'd love to get streaming with us. I'm like, if you ever did, it'd be like, yeah, that's my goal. You know, like achievement unlocked. Yes, got there. But we haven't reached out to him yet, so one day we will. I hope. I would also like Asmongold. That's not who I was talking about, but like he's high on my list too for sure. There's lots of really great streamers out there, and like it was, I gotta say, just a side note, it was a ton of fun getting to play with Ziz and Steelmage, and like all the streamers I've got to hang out with and talk to, and you know, like the interviews we've done. It's been so great to do. Just an aside, lots of fun, and I'd love to do more. I really hope we're able to, like, I don't know, do more of that. Join other people on streams, like when multiplayer gets going a little more, that sort of stuff. That'd be a lot of fun. I'd love to do that. And not just people who are like huge from other games too, but like I'd love to do a stream with people who have been streaming this game for forever in our community and stuff like that. Like, yeah, tons of fun. Let's get public multiplayer beta going first. Those are the best when you can like play together on stream properly. Yeah. Have you considered memory keys to always start from half your highest push on that character? It can be tedious at the moment if you're already clearing high content. Yeah, memory keys are interesting. Part of the reason why they go back down is because your build can like save. So your build can change, and so if it was always the highest you've ever done on that character, if you've like gone to a different build that maybe isn't as strong, you can get stuck in not being able to do it. Also, I like the Endless Arena to be all about the ladder, as it's not for everyone. And yeah, like that is the primary focus of it right now. And I do also want to say that if we can, sort of we don't know how we're going to do it yet, but if we can figure out a way to do it, getting more ladders, more types of ladders that aren't just for the arena I think would be really cool. I'd love to see some more types of ladders. Yeah, if we can, it'd be sweet. Hello! As someone who has played through the campaign 2 to 3 times, not gotten too far into the endgame, are there plans to make campaign a bit more difficult? It feels a bit like a walking simulator at times. Nothing crazy, but feels like you're just walking through without much interaction, if that's the right way to say it. Yeah, I think the campaign, not including the last chapter, is probably a little bit too easy for the most part. It is designed a little bit as a like ease you into it a bit. We're trying to make dungeons sort of a way to help speed that up, and like a select your own difficulties type situation by using dungeons. The early low level dungeons aren't quite right for that yet. We need more dungeons as well to make that better and pop a little bit better. So yeah, there's some things missing there. We are also looking at, especially the early campaign zones. They're just not quite up to the same quality standards or feature levels that the later campaigns are. And this goes back into the improving the story presentation as well. I think there's room to improve that whole experience. But yeah, that's the sort of stuff we are looking at. I can't really share specific details as to what's going to happen, but all that's up for improvement. Have I just like not found? I don't know what it is, but I just like am not finding exalted helmets, right? More importantly than multiplayer, they have fixed the armor issue where mods matter on equipment and means something to the gameplay feature. Have they fixed the armor issue where mods matter on equipment and means something to the gameplay feature? I don't quite understand the question. I think what you're asking is, have we adjusted the power balance between skill trees and gear affixes? I think that's what you're asking. We haven't done any major changes to it yet, but we're still on the list of things to look at as improvements that can be made with the itemization as a whole. I love when the squirrels get a bunch of buffs on them and they're just like these little colored balls flying around the map. You jump into that avalanche, you know how you do it. Have you ever been asked a question so random there's no point answer, so you just smile? So random that there's no point in answering so you just smile? Probably, yeah. Yeah. All right. Oh yeah, asking me to tag people. Where's that question? Do you expect multiplayer economy to be a big part of the game, or is it more solo with party play tacked on? I don't think it's either of those things. But the multiplayer economy is not a something that we're focusing on as a game mode to play. We don't want people to be like how did I word this last time? I say like people who are looking to a market system as a way to like play the market as a primary gameplay method are probably going to be disappointed with the implementation that we've got ready. And it's something that still has to go through several stages of feedback and all that sort of stuff. But like, if your goal is to come in and treat the trading market like a stock exchange and just like buy sell to like accrue wealth and things like that, that's not an experience we're going to tailor to. Do you have more monolith mission types coming in 0.9? Ooh, more mission types. I don't know. I'm sorry. Do you expect multiple? Oh, yeah, I already answered that. Cool. What kind of endgame system expansions are you planning? You've mentioned seasons might be a thing. Yes, cycles, what we're calling them, or similar, and more dungeons are given. But what about what level of creativity is expected for endgame to come? I mean, nothing's really off the table here. I think the first few cycles will probably, and this is very speculative, but the first few cycles will probably be focused a little bit more on expanding core systems and really focusing on things that are like heavily integrated into the game systems as like key features and things like that, and expanding the features that are already in the game, and then once that's a little bit more solidified and feature rich, I'd say like probably look more to a little less obvious things to add in. I want to say I'm like not really much information there, but I don't know what it's going to be, but yeah, probably there's not really a limit to what we're gonna put in. It's not gonna be like, oh, that's too interesting. Can't put that in, or anything like that. Someone comes up with a good idea for a cycle theme, and we're like, okay, well, that just has to be in the game. Yeah, let's go for it. There are lots of like easy things we can do, and I think small things can have big impacts if we do them right. And like even something as little as just like you say, a new dungeon with a new reward type on it can have a pretty huge impact on the overall gameplay. Like case in point being when we added the very first dungeon that added legendaries to the game, a humongous impact. There was actually something really cool that happened when we did that. But like the day we did that, instantly there was just so many more posts on our subreddit about like, check out this cool item I found. And it was the day we released legendary items that type of post started showing up. I was like, yes, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. I love those posts, by the way. Just like a little, oh, hey, we just found a torch and a 1 LP torch. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Let me go post that on Reddit. Here we go. Alright. Blizzard, I'm sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about. Hey Mike, can you add a unique light beam to normal items in the loot filter, like recolor light beam would be awesome. We do not have any plans for that at the moment. in general, if you've got suggestions or ideas or requests, please head on over to the forums to post those, as you can get feedback and discussions going with other community members. But with regards to this one, I can tell you a big part of it is we want to avoid the ability to say, like, in the loot filter, like, show all items light beam and just be like, bomb. It's like disco rave party, here we go. There's a few other considerations too. So it's not something we're planning at the moment. It's not a hard no. It's a maybe one day if we figure out a way to do it right. It's possible, maybe. For now, no, though. Sorry. Call it a soft no. Soft no. Hello. Any reason there is no one-click button to reset the skill tree? I was just talking about passive trees, and there's. It's still sort of an ongoing debate if we should add one of those, really, and I'll leave it at that. I think. Hello, multiplayer coming. Yes, it is. Ellie does are great. Thank you. Is there any talks about outfit transmute system? Yeah, we've been talking about something like that. Don't have any info I can share with it with you right now. Sorry. Are there any more crafting changes coming, or is the process pretty set for the next few cycles? I mean, the overall mechanics for the crafting, how it works now. I'd be something very, very dramatic would have to show up as a like, oh my god, we forgot this was a thing. Oh no, like something really big would have to show up for us to change the core mechanics on how crafting works. As far as little things like maybe a dungeon shows up and the reward is like an extra avenue for crafting, or new glyphs or new runes coming in, yeah, that'll happen for sure. So like the overall crafting experience will change and shift and grow as the game does too, but the core, like, here we're gonna take an item and we're gonna like bump up this one, we're gonna bump up this one, we got some glyphs, we got some runes, that sort of stuff. Like that's in place. Something would have to be very, very dramatically wrong for us to make changes there. It's actually a pretty cool sword. So if it got all that melee damage, if I find an LP version of this, get slapped on there. Ooh yeah. Ooh yeah. Any plans for translating the game to other languages? Yes. I do not know which languages yet, I'm sorry. It is much later than I thought, but you know what? I started late, so I'm going to end late too. And I've got here's a little. Don't know what size it's going to be. Oh, I have no idea what this is going to look like. I hope it's right. No, it's not right. Sorry. I did transform center on screen and it didn't center it on screen. Grumble. Okay, here we go. Haha. Wait. I know how to... I'm so good at this, guys. I know exactly how this all works. There's a new VFX update for Smite. That's what this is. We getting audio from this? The audio is really good. I hope you can hear it. Did it freeze? No audio. It looks like it froze. Oh. Yep, that's definitely judgment. You're right, Llama. Sorry. I just replaced the video file named Smite and just forgot that it was judgment. Oh, boy. This is going terribly, and I apologize. And we're gonna try and just like play through VLC and see if it works better there. Just gonna quickly do this. 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay. Here we go. There we go. Turn up the volume. I'm sorry, I closed it. That's all we got on that one. Unless it was terrible, I'll bring it up again. But if that was adequate, I can leave it. Just want to say, really appreciate this opportunity to ask questions and see a dev play through their own game. Wow, glad you're having fun. That's what we're here for. A few questions about ETA and multiplayer when it's ready. Questions about new classes. There'll be 1.0 release, not before. It's new classes. The 3 new mastery classes will come with launch, main launch. Oh, get out of that. Hey, Mike. Not sure if you've ever been asked this before, but find out. But did you ever work on any ARPG before in your life before Last Epoch? This is the first ARPG I've ever worked on. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the first one I ever worked on. I think it's going pretty well so far, though. Feels good. I like to think it's doing well. I try so hard to just ignore any numbers or anything like that. And just like, you know, make the game, talk to people about it, have fun. Those are the important things, right? And that way, when numbers do come out, it's like, it's always a surprise. So it's, you know, it doesn't really matter what they are, and they feel good when they do. Welcome to the dark side. Hello, hello. Lots of people saying hello, hi. Thanks for coming. Glad to have you here. Okay, I think this is going to be the last echo here. I was hoping to do a couple more. Didn't find a helmet. I'm looking for this helmet. Oh, I need it. It's this way. Let's go back this way. Boing. Boing. Yeah. If people have requests for specific builds to play on stream, I'd be open to hearing that for later. If you head on over to Discord or anywhere and drop that down, I'd be happy to try something else out. If people have anything they really want to see played next week. Started to play your game 2 months ago and had a blast. The Spellblade and Sorcerer. A tad sad the mage doesn't start. No magic missile to start with. Yeah, there's I mean, you can kind of make fireball. You can get like a magic missile-esque effect on fireball pretty well. As part of the trees, you can kind of build it. How do you feel a cycle will keep the player interested? Currently in other games, the average player lifespan is a little over a month. Is there a target goal for retention the team has in mind? We've talked about some of those metrics. I don't think there's anything specific that I can really share because I don't know what they are, if we do have anything. I think I just almost went right back into another one. I think a lot of it is just keeping adding as much new fun stuff as we can. Yeah. And that's the best way to do it. Just keep making the game better. How do you know Boardman 21? Or do you know Boardman 21? I mean, I've never met him in person. I've talked to him quite a few times through chat and voice chat a few times, and been to his streams a few times and watched his videos. But so I wouldn't say we know each other well. I know he's met up with a few other people on the team. But yeah, I know Boardman. Cool guy. Last question. If you like to see a classic Diablo 2 Frost Orb Sork, how would you make that work? Is it doable? Yeah, I can do Frost Orb. Frozen Orb is a node on Volcanic Orb, and it works almost exactly the same way. So yeah, I could get a Frozen Orb together. I'll try and do that for next week. I had a ton of fun. I hope you did too. Thanks for coming out. I will be here same time, same place next week. A little bit earlier than this week, so I was late this week. But we'll be back answering more questions. If I missed any questions, if there was anything that you wanted to ask and I didn't get to, I skipped over, or just ran out of time, please feel free to head on over to our Discord or forums or Reddit, all sorts of places where people hang out answering questions. Lots of people in the community can answer cool stuff too. Hope you have a great day. There's a sweet podcast happening. It started a couple minutes ago. It's picking up right now, so we'll go say hi to that. I hope you all have a wonderful day. That's it.
We